This is Year of Raging Winds, an actual play RPG podcast about a makeshift crew seeking adventure and profit on the high seas. I'm Caleb, your host and game master, and you're about to listen to episode 5 of the show. For whatever reason, probably because of the open nature of this episode, we neglected to go through the characters' bits at the beginning of the episode. We review them at the end of the session, but in today's game, we start right away with the action. Today's cast consists of the same group we began with: Connor, Jared, and Josh. Trevor and Adam couldn't make it, and so their characters take a back seat in today's episode. Being the last episode of the show, the session is focused on the characters attempting to wrap up any business that has been left unfinished before the crew arrives in Lucerta to sell their goods. Let's go ahead and get started with the game. We'll jump right into the action in the Year of Raging Winds. Hey, we're live with Your Raging Winds, and it's going to be a great time, even though we're missing two of the most important people on the ship. But yeah, I think what we'll probably do, again, what I was planning on doing is just making this the last episode of Your Raging Winds. And so at the end of this, you would get to Lucerta. But basically, I want to just montage, basically, the rest of this voyage and do a series of vignettes with your characters as they have different character relationships. We're going to see what John Tos's fate is on this ship, and whether or not he's going to convince people that he's a good cook and he's going to get to stay. We're going to see whether Winter is going to convince other people he has stuff worth offering, and wants to, because the demon wants to gather up some people. And we'll see if either Avion or his wife die in a tragic way. Okay, so when we last left off with our beloved sailors, I suppose, they had just talked down pirates. Trevor had a brilliant plan to give them the forged art objects and stuff like that and convince them to go sell them to a port. We continue just on the voyage. What are things that your characters are going to be doing?
John Toast will be cooking. I suppose that's a given. Did the princess ever get revealed to the whole crew, or is she still trying to hide in the kitchen?
I think she's still trying to hide in the kitchen. The problem is the two characters that are important to that whole plot arc are not here.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like what we'll probably just do is just ignore it in the sense of its importance. Just make it less important. So you just say all right, Cadmail just reveals to the crew, oh hey, we have a princess aboard. Don't worry about it. And then it becomes more or less public. Because it's not like we have an evil person on the ship anymore, right?
Not at all.
What is evil, really?
What is the first thing that you think would happen that would be important with either of you, any of your characters? Anything you would want to do within the first day or whatever that's important. Otherwise, I can have things happen.
I'm scared of pirates, so handing out some liquor to celebrate would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We didn't have to fight and die.
Yeah. The mercenaries are happy about that. So, are you doing that?
Yes, I think John Toast will.
Usually John Toast would? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I think as long as you're like Avion's okay with that, and by extension Trevor, as long as you're okay with you handing out a big portion of the liquor store, are you fine with that, Avion?
I assume I have.
So fine with it.
Okay.
I assume I have access to.
No, you do. I'm saying you have access. You totally have access to it. Yeah, it's just a question of whether or not it would be okay for you to just go bring it out to everybody. But if Avion's cool with it, then yeah, like basically,
essentially,
you just start bringing it out, and Avion's like, yes, this is the best. Everybody gets drunk.
Hey.
But yeah, I think Jontos, that definitely goes a long way to helping the rest of the crew like you more. Because even though technically, like, this isn't you per se giving out this liquor in the sense that you didn't buy it, you're still the one who's handing them the bottles and stuff. So
I'm the barkeep, so
yeah, exactly. The night passes in drunken revelry, and yeah, the next morning, what's happening? I know Winter is gonna try to do stuff, so
Jontos has a headache.
I'm probably sending my my bird back and forth, taking business deals before we arrive. You know.
I mean, it's quite a long ways. I mean, there's settlements as you pass, right? You can send messages to those places.
Yep.
Well, like, you can't go send a message to Lucerta because that's a freaking far away.
Can just like land on the water like a duck and take a break?
No. Like they could land on like isles and stuff. Like that's totally like a thing. But like again, it's a long ways to fly.
Yeah.
The cove is right here. Some tip there. So it's gonna be 22 more days before you get there. So you got a while. So I mean, okay, let's just go ahead and start this off with a cooking roll. Let's just see.
Always started off with a cooking roll. Yeah. Where's my button? There's my button.
So again, breakfast is probably pretty simple, but let's like the main meal of the day. Let's see how it goes.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, yeah, let's just make a roll for that whole day, like just how well the cooking goes.
Mm-hmm.
What's your intent here?
My intent is to make satisfying meals.
Okay.
I've learned my lesson about trying to wow them.
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
You're just gonna try to pass.
Mm-hmm.
Obtu. So.
All right. So I'll make cooking roll, fork in me fire building, me knives, mystery meat wise, and seamanship.
Why seamanship?
Because we're on a boat.
No, I don't think that's
good working with the supplies on the boat.
How about sea-wise? Because we're on the sea, and I would know about
if you're like
available,
putting fish and stuff like that. Yep, totally.
Sea-wise, knives, fire building, cooking, and mystery wise. Cool. It's up to.
Mm-hmm. Oh, all right, you succeed.
That was close.
Handily. All right, so I mean, you're
7,
cooking well.
And you only got 3 successes.
Yep, that's my life. I should really have thrown a ton of skill points into cooking and gratiated it, but no.
Yeah, so the cooking is good. Avion or Winter, what's going on with you guys? What do you want to do?
Well, probably just jovially talking to the crew.
Mm-hmm.
Playing chess with that one dude.
Again, yeah. All right, you're still failing.
Yeah.
Do you want to legitimately actually play a game, and roll for it?
Sure.
Or do you want to just okay? All right, so I'm gonna roll strategy games here, and so that's untrained. So these successes that he'll get are doubled. Oh, and you only got a 2. All right. Do either of you have any traits that would able to be called on to break the tie? I don't think you can really tie in a game of chess.
Yes, you can. Actually, you can. It's very common.
Okay. So, let's just say that happened.
Not incredibly common. Most games end with a win, but if skill levels are close enough and both players play very well, you can end up in a draw. And the only thing that the player can do is either tip their king or just completely draw it. Now, keep that with a grain of salt because most of my experience with chess is 4-player chess. And that's quite a bit different. But draws are incredibly common in 4-player chess, too.
Yeah. So basically, it goes to a draw. You guys just play chess and nothing really happens. You just tied. I think Gen compliments you. He's like, oh wow, you actually tied with me this time. Usually he just wins outright. So
yeah.
Yep. So Winter, what have you been up to?
Gonna go talk with the captain.
Okay. He's using the spyglass, just kind of looking on the horizon, going around the ship, making sure everybody's working well, stuff like that.
I asked him why he allowed me to be on the ship. Why did you let me stay here?
Okay.
Not to say that I'm not grateful.
It wasn't up to me. Mr. Rossos and Lord Avion, they made the decision. I'm just the person who keeps the crew in line.
And if it was, just be honest with me.
If it was my decision whether or not you come aboard?
Yes, sir.
I don't think I would care terribly much. You seem like a nice enough fellow.
All right. I hate to put you in that awkward social position. I was just curious as to what I'm doing here, you know?
I ask myself the same question sometimes.
I bet with the stories that I've heard about this ship, or this voyage in particular.
Really, what stories have you heard?
Well, I've heard that the cook once made moldy meat, stirred it into with the stew.
You haven't been on a ship very much, have you?
No, sir.
That's usually the normal. I think most of these sailors are used to finer ships than they probably should be, or else they wouldn't be complaining so much about the cooking.
Thank you.
I think Jantos is doing a wonderful job.
Oh, sir, I didn't mean to say that he wasn't.
No, I wasn't implying that you were. Just making a clarification.
I'm kind of bad with words and people, I guess. Sorry. I don't mean to keep putting us in these awkward social situations.
No, you're fine. You seem like an agreeable man. Just honest questions. Yes, I mean, it has been a little strange. I'm sure you've heard of the assassin that was aboard.
Yeah, that was the weirdest story of all. Or dragon blood, they say.
Yes, dragon blood. I thought he looked suspicious, but don't want to be prejudiced, you understand?
Yes, sir.
So, Winter, correct?
Yes, sir.
It's an odd name. Where do you hail from?
Lucerta.
Oh, so bringing you back to your home city then?
Yes, what a coincidence.
It is a coincidence. So, Serrano, you're a religious man?
You could say that.
I'm possessed by a demon. You might say that. All right. I think he just says, what god do you... Oh, I'm sorry. What patron saint do you revere?
Paul.
To be honestly, I revere them all. They were all fairly decent men. I mean, who's to pick and choose who was better than the other? They all did good things, right?
If you can believe the legends, I suppose. I mean, it's been quite a long time since the stewards walked the earth, so I suppose it would be a little challenging to interpret truth from lies and talking about the patron saints. So.
Indeed.
Anyway, what kind of line of work are you in? I understand they found you in the Smuggler's Cove. Do you...
Yeah, I was just making stuff for them. Like mending and wood scavenging, whatever occupation. Carpentry, is that?
You weren't...
Am I a carpenter? Is that
You're a tinkerer. Yeah, I mean, you mend things, yeah. It's a little bit of both. You're like a jack of all trades, really. With all that kind of fixing and all that stuff.
I'm a tinker, inventor, though I haven't really invented anything too great.
And he says, so you're telling me that you didn't participate in the criminal activities, you just merely helped the criminals out in their activities.
Accessory!
Yes, sir.
Well, again, I don't want to be judgmental. I do understand that the taxes in New Amhati are a little bit pricey. Varudians, like myself, always tend to be a little stingy when it comes to money. So, anything else I can do for you, Winter?
After all those people dying in there, I feel like I am wasting my life, sir. I feel like I need an ambition. Something new to strive for.
Yeah, and you can tell that this is all way more than he was asking for.
Oh, really?
Like, I don't want to... What? I'm not going to help you with your existential problems. Like,
Do I notice that?
Oh, definitely. Like, I mean,
Okay.
you're good enough with people that you totally notice that.
Oh, I didn't mean like. I'm sorry, sir. Let me just cut to the chase. All I meant to ask was, what do you live for? What do you want?
I live for a well-earned wage after a hard day's labor. I live for the sea, the wonders of new lands. I live for the adventure and thrill of going to exotic places and striking bargains. I live for order and comfort when I make it myself and make it my own. I'm a simple man, really.
Do you ever dream of something more? Something great?
Everyone does, I suppose. I suppose we all have foolish ambitions.
Dream with me for a moment, Captain Leogos. If you could
What
have
kind of
anything,
dream?
what would you want?
If I could have anything, I think I would have a wife, children, and I would be done with the sea. Or at least, maybe just a small ship, fishing, that sort of thing. Simple life. Simpler than I have.
Hmm.
Sometimes the world can be a little bit complicated.
Captain Leogos,
Yes,
I'm not meant for a simple life.
I can tell.
We can send that there.
Yeah. I think we skipped forward a couple days.
Are the crew getting happier and happier with me because I'm cooking well?
Yeah, I mean, I think that we'll just let that ride as we continue the next couple days. And I think, yeah, you're cooking hearty, nourishing, regular meals, and everybody's kind of okay with it. Especially after, like, nothing terribly bad has happened so far on this voyage, and everything seems to have been dealt with pretty easily. So, like, people are in good spirits. And so they're not terribly picky about food. So, yeah. Does anyone have any, like, beliefs or stuff they want to work towards? Because I have a few things that can happen. I just want to know, like, what direction you kind of want to go in. Basically, all of Avion's beliefs are make sure nothing bad happens on this voyage.
I think John Source will probably hand out stories with his meals, generally being friendly and trying to work toward his first beliefs to make friends with the crew. And second beliefs cheer people up. And a second instinct.
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and go put a roll behind that, right? Like, make a persuasion test. Well, I mean, it might be a persuasion test. It could also be like soothing platitudes or kind of what you're doing.
Kind of persuasion, telling horror stories of bad cooks. And
okay, so you're persuading people to like you.
Essentially, what I'm trying to show them is contrast between my cooking, which maybe isn't great, but there are other cooks out there, and stories of adventure.
Yeah, so that exactly, I don't think that's a persuasion roll, though. That's like either like oratory or like acting. Because like you're like telling them a story, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you could
probably but it fall more under oratory than acting.
Okay.
This is part of the problem of figuring out who my character is after adding things to the sheet, because my character by all rights should have oratory stories.
Do you want to? Do you want to just switch it out?
That'd be useful, but I mean, we'd have to be kind of retcon, and I'd be changing stuff.
Well, this is the thing, like, you haven't done anything terribly important with persuasion that couldn't have been done with oratory already, right? Like,
no, honestly, I've been using persuasion in place of oratory because I should have had oratory in the first place.
So let's just change. I'm just changing it right now. Persuasion, I'm changing it to oratory on your sheet. So
awesome, thank you.
That makes sense. Yeah, because this was definitely a much more like kind of freeform, kind of throw the character out there kind of thing. Where like, and we thought a lot more about Antonius and like what he would be like before we actually started. So
yeah,
go ahead and make an oratory roll then. It's against Ob 3 because it's the combined will of the crew. But I think I will allow you to have one more modifier dice because of the cooking roll. So that's like a link test basically.
Mm-hmm.
So go ahead and do that.
And then I'll fork in sea wise because
stories of the sea.
This is going to be hard. I'm going to fork in falsehood because all of these are true.
Oh, of course not.
In fact, a lot of them are just aren't because that's the type of story you tell at sea.
Yep, it's true. The big one that got away.
48 feet long. I should know. I walked up and nodded twice before it walked away on me. Face on 3.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm transparently fake. Failed by 2, so...
I can't really think of a good way that like this would go horribly wrong. You know what I mean? Like you're just going around like talking to people and making up stories, and maybe everybody's just like, okay, whatever. But like they aren't gonna like you less because of it.
Mm-hmm.
So no one like hates you or anything. They're just all like, okay, whatever. So just feed us.
Can I meet the princess?
Sure. What can I do?
All right. So, can I just be like looking off in the distance over the ocean, and she literally just stumbles right into me, and like almost knocks me overboard?
Yeah, she's writing like some poetry down as she like
as she's walking
the deck. Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
And she bumps into you. She's, I'm so sorry.
Can she be saying something extremely romantic as she walks behind me?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's reading it aloud as she writes it.
Yeah, and then I'm like, that sounds really beautiful. And I just turn and she just walks right into me.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's
okay. All right. Okay. So then Winter.
I'm so sorry. I should have been looking where I was going. Oh no. And I think like she dropped her paper and it's like fluttering in the wind and it's like going to go down into the water.
Can I catch it?
You can make an agility test to catch it. Yeah.
Oh.
2.
Connor, I swear, if you fail.
Agility. Woo!
Really?
All right.
So you catch it. It as it flies in the wind.
All right, awesome. So I grab it and I look to her and I say, that was the most beautiful thing I've ever heard in my life.
And she blushes and she looks down. She's like, no, it's nothing. It's silly.
I'm serious. What's your name?
I am...
No, I say, you must be the princess I've heard so much about, and smirk as if that's supposed to be like a flirtatious comment because I don't think she's the princess.
Oh, okay.
It's you must be the princess.
So I think she, like, that flies just completely over her head, and she just thinks that you're just legitimately saying that she's the princess, and so she's like, yes, I am Princess Susuo at your service, and she does a little curtsy.
Can I take that as, would it be possible for me to take that as...
as sarcasm?
Yeah.
Totally. Yeah.
Totally. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, so what are you doing on the ship?
I am on the run from assassins.
I laugh.
What is so funny about that? It's serious.
I'm sure it is, Princess Azumi.
Susuo.
I think she's kidding. And I'm just like, no, of course, Princess Setsune.
Susuo. And this is, I think this is legitimate. Like that's happening right now.
All right.
Like,
yes, that'd be great. Yes.
And she just keeps saying this. Susuo.
I say, what are you doing on deck? I could be one of the assassins for all you know.
You're not, are you?
Well, I could be. What would you do if I was?
I would scream and go get Iris.
Oh, who's Iris?
The love of my life. The protector of my heart and the protector of my person.
Interesting. And is there any way that might change in the near future?
Excuse me?
I just smile and laugh.
Are you flirting with me?
Are you flirting with me?
No, of course not. John Toast, I think you hear this as you're like kind of like you're handing out like food to people or whatever on deck. Mm-hmm. You hear that like really loudly. And I think Avian, you do too. Like you both just hear that really loudly on the deck.
I just go up behind him, I slap him on the back. I'm like, young love.
I'm not. Oh no! And then she like she like lifts up like the hem of her dress a little bit and like starts running like towards the cabins. Iris, I was not unfaithful to you.
And I just sit back flabbergasted and I'm like, is she actually the princess? To you, Avian.
Yeah.
Oh.
On the ship. I mean, other than my wife.
I thought she was joking. Huh. Do ask her to forgive me if you find it suitable for you
I slap him on the back and I'm like, a man's got to own up to his own mistakes. And then I walk away.
I suppose that's true, Avion, sir. Thank you.
Technically, Avion, Winter should have called you my lord or your lordship or Lord Volus. Shouldn't have been using your first name, but depends on whether or not you care. That's
I don't think he could care any less.
Okay, that's good.
And you used that phrase correctly. I am proud of you, sir. I don't think he could care any less.
Yeah.
He could not care any less.
Oh,
as opposed to saying I could care less, because then that's literally the most ambiguous thing you could say.
I could care less.
I care some amount, some indeterminate amount that is greater than zero. Literally all you have said in that statement.
Yep. So yeah, I mean that's the extent of that conversation.
Well,
I think at this point, Jontos has given her a shot as well, but he's not really going to say anything.
Can I just talk to Avion then?
Sure, yeah. Just continue a conversation. So
no, later.
Oh, just later? Okay.
Like during dinner or something.
Sure, yep.
You want to make Josh do a cooking roll?
Yeah, I mean, go ahead and make another cooking roll. And this will be for the next stretch of days. Like, we won't make it like every day or whatever, but it's like the next stretch of days. If you can get enough of these in a row, then it's just kind of like, all right, you can just kind of tide it over, basically. So same up to.
Caleb, are there any ancient ruins around here somewhere where we might find some sort of treasure?
Well, I got 5 successes. I was hoping to like blow it out of the water, and wow. Okay.
Wow, yeah, that's a pretty good cooking roll. I mean, yeah, let's just let that roll over for the rest of the trip. I think you've proven yourself. Yep. So Jontos is in the clear, at least for cooking.
Mm-hmm.
So good work, my friend. So what were you saying, Winter?
Is there any legends of like ancient artifacts or like secret treasures around these parts?
I mean, that would be a roll, right? Like, that would be a wise.
Would it? Huh.
It could be several different wises, or it could maybe be like a history roll.
You could come to me for help, and I could actually do a C-wise, and then I could make up a story if I fail.
You do that. How about I talk to you about it over lunch, or over your meal, or how about while you're cooking? While you're cooking, I come in to see you, and I feel like I should actually have a conversation with you first, though.
What can I do for you? Why are you in my kitchen?
Well,
go about 10 minutes before lunch. Can't you wait?
Well, honestly, sir, I was just curious about what you do back here.
Oh, well, in that case, then there's a knife over there, and there's some potatoes over there. And if you peel them up real quick, we can throw them on the grill, and it'll be a little bit extra on top of what we're already cooking.
Sure, absolutely, sir.
Right, kindly.
Do I have to roll for that, Caleb, or no?
No, you're fine.
Okay, I'm just cutting potatoes. All right.
Have you ever been at sea before?
A couple times before.
Couple of times. How far are you going? How long were that side of land?
However long it takes to have gotten to that smuggler's cove is what my answer is, but I don't know because I'm not in this world.
Well, you would have been riding the coast, basically the way Caleb's been navigating.
Yep.
So not terribly long then.
A day or two at most, probably.
Mm-hmm.
Day or two at most.
Now those are real sea voyages, when you're out for a week or two and you can't see anything but water all around you. If you think the crew gets restless after a little bit hopping along the coast, you should see them and all they can see is water. Some of them love it. They think it's the greatest thing ever. They're surrounded by the sea, and then everyone else is like, why can't we see land? Drive a man mad, it can. I knew 3 different sailors that tried to hang themselves because of it.
That's terrible.
I mean, well, one of them was messing around in the rigging and made a mistake and slipped, but, close enough.
Well, I like both of them, I'd say. I just like the adventure of it all.
Aye, it is an adventure, that. Big, raging storms. Now, those are fun. Well, no, they're not fun at all, but, that's the adventure of it.
So, are there actually, like, secret treasures or, like, ancient trips out here that nobody has explored? Or is that just, stuff that people make up because they want to believe in some cool adventure kind of thing?
Ancient treasures. I may have heard a thing or two about that. I'm going to fork in cooking to this Seawise roll because we're cooking right now.
No, that doesn't make any sense.
Fine.
What if it's cooking-based treasure?
The pot of wonder.
Turn any stew into solid gold, but also edible gold.
It's called the Kirby pot.
Graduated test, yeah? Yeah.
Yep.
All right then.
You don't know squat.
Can't think of anything offhand.
Can I give him a fate point?
Nope.
Dang it.
Not even a 6. He rolled 2 3s, so.
Yeah.
Well, I can't say as I remember specific treasures, but I hear tell of pirate ruins under the water all the time. But most of them have been visited. They say they're haunted, and I don't know offhand specifics.
Interesting.
I don't remember. And I'm burning the soup. And he's going to run up to the soup and kind of dismiss Winter a little bit.
Well,
He's a little flustered. He can't come up with anything clever right now. Also trying to multitask in several different ways.
and he notices that, but he's like, well, Jantos, can I call you Jantos, or would you prefer the title Cook?
You can call me what you'd like, but I'd prefer it be something nice.
I don't know. I guess I'm just a little lost at the moment. Not necessarily about where we are physically, but just of...
We're in the galley, kid.
Well,
How old is Mitri at this point? So
19.
Kid.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I think Jantos is only 18. Whatever.
I'm not sure really what I want right now.
If you're coming to me with your life problems, you're in the wrong place.
Oh no, goodness no.
I think what you've got to do is find something you're really excited about, and then hurt yourself while you're doing it and find something else. Because that's what I did.
he just laughs at that and just thinks it's a joke.
The truth in that statement, though.
And then he just says, "No, what I mean is, I'm just trying to get ideas, I guess, from different crew members and stuff. I'm curious as to what you want, and not like what you want in a day, but like what do you want for your life? Like if you could have anything, what would you want? What are you striving for?"
Well, those are two different things. What I'd really like is to get my leg back, but that's not going to happen. I'll never get my limb back. Not the way it was. I'll never climb around in the rigging like a monkey, like I used to.
Well,
I think that I'm here and I've been given opportunities and I'm going to make the best of what I got.
don't you ever dream about having something more than just your leg back? I mean, like, despite all of that, has there ever been a time when you wanted glory or power or riches, even?
To be honest, I would like nothing more than to have a ship full of gold and a kingdom to spend it on. And a throne and riches.
And he just stops cutting the potatoes and just looks up like he's picturing exactly what you're saying.
Ah, Connor, you're so good at playing this character.
Oh, thanks.
Well, maybe one kingdom wouldn't be enough. 2 kingdoms now, that would be something.
Yes, it would, sir.
But that's neither here nor there. Are you done with those potatoes yet?
No, sorry, I was just picturing what you were describing.
Well, hurry up with them then. We're almost done with the soup, and if the potatoes aren't done,
Yes,
we've got
sir.
some mercenaries who would like to string someone up for it.
Sir, if I can give you some youthful, not necessarily wise advice.
All right, don't see why not. I mean, there's nothing I can do to stop you if that's what you're saying.
Well, I did ask for a reason, but I was probably going to say it anyway. Sir, don't stop dreaming. Anything is possible. If there's anything that I've learned in my life, Well, that's it. And he just gives you like a childish, dreamy smile.
That's probably best. It's hard though. It's hard.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
Well, I knew a man once who dreamt way too much. He literally spent the entire day sleeping and dreaming. And then he'd wake up and he'd tell everybody his dreams. And, the crew of the ship got really frustrated with him because he said he was good. He said he could hoist the sails, but then he never got out of his hammock. And eventually they marooned him on a desert island. They came back about 2 years later. The man was considered a prophet among the natives. The natives worshipped him and fed him these mushrooms that made him dream even stronger. And it was the strangest thing any of us have ever seen. But he did still dreaming, and I guess it did work out for him in the end.
And it's going to work out for us too, Junkos. Just keep dreaming, man. Things will turn around. You'll see. Trust me.
All right. Now, let's get this meal out to the mercenaries or we'll have hell to pay.
It's true.
Yes, sir. All right. So then, can I just ask all of the sailors, like around dinner, like I kind of, I befriend them or whatever, and then I'm just kind of like, hey guys, are there any like actual like sea treasures out there? And I kind of ask it as if I'm some sort of idiotic kid who's just dreaming about adventure, but I want to see if they'll say anything.
Just like the whole crew, just
yeah, just whatever table I find myself at, kind of a thing.
I mean, I don't think anyone like really has.
Really?
Okay, so the problem is like those people would just tell you like stories that are probably not true and have no basis in fact whatsoever. I don't think it would really help your case there, like your request for this.
Well, then I listen to all their dumb stories, and I know that none of them are true. And then there's one guy though who actually has a story, and he's trustworthy. Like there's an old guy in the corner, and he's like, "This story I heard once," right?
That would be like a gather information or something, but like Burning Wheel doesn't really have that. Because you can do that like, individually to each person, but like the thing I'm thinking is it might be like interrogation.
That's actually probably because it's not hostile, but it's definitely interrogation.
Well,
asking questions.
Yeah, except it says here, using a peculiar logic, interrogators gain information from unwilling subjects. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it would probably be like persuasion. It's like, hey, tell this to me. They are to convincing someone not to act on your behalf because it is in his best interest. So it would be like, hey, tell me this story because I'm going to love this story. Like,
okay,
I want to hear the story. But like, that's a thing you would do to like specific people. But whatever. Let's just do persuasion.
All right. So can I fork in poisonous platitudes?
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
Interrogation. Can I fork in interrogation?
Yeah.
Falsehood to know whether or not somebody is telling the truth or not about the story?
No, that would be lie-wise.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
There's a wise for everything.
Ambition-wise, obviously, right?
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Yeah.
And then soothing platitudes as well?
Sure. Yep. Okay, so let me look at poisonous platitudes again real quick. Just to make sure that
they're not mutually exclusive.
Compliments and ingratiation, like an assassin using knives. Yeah.
I think it'd be both.
Actually, what? No. This actual role would just be poisonous platitudes. Poisonous platitudes, it says in the description, this skill combines persuasion and soothing platitudes into one unholy mess. So I think
poisonous
you might actually,
platitudes?
Yeah, I think you might just be rolling poisonous platitudes because you're like going around like, ingratiating yourself to everyone and saying, oh, hey, you should tell me this story because I really want to hear it, like, So I think that's what it is. And then you can fork in persuasion and stuff too. So,
okay, so poisonous platitudes, and I can't fork in soothing platitudes?
No, you can fork in soothing platitudes. I think you can also fork in falsehood in this case. Then you're like specifically like ingratiating yourself by like flattering these people, so they'll talk to you, and they're probably not necessarily all true things. So exactly. All right, so
I'll just do a blank out for now. Are you serious?
Let me guess. You failed. The base out would have been 3.
Okay, well I succeeded then.
Yes, you did.
City with flying colors.
Okay, so you succeed, right? So you get your story. So now this can basically give you an advantage dice on this history or like legend wise that you would be doing. And I could see it either way. Let me look at history real quick because I think if it was history, it would be a specific kind of history. So what exactly are you trying to find out?
I want to find an ancient treasure or an ancient power. You know what I'm trying to find. Come on.
Yeah, I know what you're trying to find. That would be ancient history.
Really?
Yep. So that's a subset of history. Yeah, that's fine. So you just have to add it to your sheet. So is this Winter or Ures making this?
Ures.
Roll? Yeah. Okay. So add it to being learned, and it's
you should do it because I always forget.
Oh, right. Okay. And so you'll get it's basically that was a linked test to go towards this. So you can add that's the only thing you can really fork in because it's again not learned. So
sure.
And it's graduated. So I'm just going to roll it for you. All right. You have 3 6s you could re-roll. You want to re-roll those?
Yes.
Okay. Make sure you mark that you spent the fate. You got 1 success on that. So you got a 5 altogether. Yeah. I mean, I think you managed to piece together all of these legends, and it leads you to like all the legends that you hear of are like pointing to some like island that's along this coast that supposedly was like an ancient dragon blood like castle and might hold something of treasure there, something of value.
So we're going there.
It's supposedly hard to find because it's like shielded by magic or something.
Okay. So we're going there, right?
I mean, you gotta convince the people on the ship to do that.
So I go straight to Avion.
Okay.
And I basically am just like, hey, Avion, have you heard of this? There's supposedly this ancient treasure. Do you think that we could make a stop there? And like, because it's on the way almost, right? Do you think we could just stop and check it out and like see what it's all about? I mean, think about it. What if it's real? Do you know how awesome that would be? You know how rich we would be?
So the thing is, like, I think it's already rich. Like, that's not really super convincing.
Do you say that?
I'm just like, yeah, I want you to roll first. That'll be my response.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's persuasion. Like,
you should probably fork everything.
You could also do poisonous platitudes if you wanted to, actually.
Okay. So I'm going to do poisonous platitudes, fork and persuasion, soothing platitudes, ambition-wise, interrogation? No, not necessarily.
No. Why ambition-wise?
Because this is my ambition. This is
okay, so
everything.
You're just going to try to convince Avion that it should be his ambition too.
Yeah.
Okay. So how are you exactly doing this as a poisonous platitudes roll? Like, tell me how that works. Because it's flattery.
I mean, I'm definitely flattering him in all of this. I mean, I'm calling him Lord Avion, the rich and powerful. I mean, come on. Okay. And just the way that I'm talking is...
But again, what is your persuasion here, though? Because
I'm trying to get to him about how that this is in his best interest.
But how is it in his best interest? Because he's already rich. Like, what would be the reason?
Power and riches unimaginable. And the fame from uncovering such a thing.
Yeah, see, I feel like the fame definitely would be more in Avion's liking than
yeah. All right, cool. All right, so I'm going to fork in persuasion, soothing platitudes, and ambition-wise. Yes.
Wow, one above my will.
Yes.
So what was that? What was your will, Avion?
6.
Oh, wow. Okay, so, I mean, yeah, you succeed. How does that look like, Avion? Like, what exactly convinces you?
Riches and fame, you say? I mean, if you know where this place is and it's on the way, it would be foolish not to take.
Exactly my thoughts, sir. I'll let the captain know right away. Or maybe
again, this is technically Trevor's adventure.
Cadmail?
Yeah. I'm just the supervisor, you could say.
Well, I'm sure you can convince Cadmail, right? I mean, this is Rich's fame and glory we're talking about. I mean, he can stay on the ship with the princess if that's what he wants to do. But I mean, we can't let some crotchety old guy like that, take away this adventure from us.
Okay, I'm thoroughly convinced.
So you just go for it anyway. So how you just not tell Cadmail? You just Like, have them go slightly off course.
Captain, adjust your guards by 0.2 degrees.
So,
Adventure is in the air.
I'm going to go ahead and have the ship's pilot go ahead and make a Sea-Wise check here to see if he knows anything in the area that might qualify. And I think the captain is going to help once you tell him of this. Does anyone else have any Sea-Wise that they would like to?
Falconry.
Sea-Wise?
Yeah, you could help with falconry. Hey, Dan.
Not entirely sure how Jontos' Sea-Wise would help, but he'll lend a hand.
Yeah, so it's just a matter of like cross-referencing, like, oh, have you seen is there an island that matches this description, like in this area?
Oh,
So-
there are 4 of them.
So
There are harpies that live there. They'll eat your bones. Not the rest of you, mind you, just your bones.
Okay, so I'm going to put the Ob 3 here, and then you guys can mark that as a test against Ob 3. Oh, wow. 1 success on 7 dice. That's
What?
So sad. Yeah, so there is not an island by that description anywhere in the vicinity. But you can mark that, guys, as a test as if you had done against Op 3 with your Sea-Wise.
Challenging Sea-Wise test. Yay.
Yeah, I mean, so I think what it is then is that you got the location wrong. Like, you're like, oh, it must be like further up the coast. Like,
Okay, so can I just tell right off the bat that he doesn't know and try to course correct this? Figure out a different path to take?
I mean, like, you have no idea where this could be, not any more than he could. So what are you going to do instead?
Well, that's a good question. But I don't know. Is there anybody on this ship who has any type of idea about this? Like any old man who's, has a fantasy about this thing and has more information about whatever legend this is? Can we give this legend a name, by the way?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's okay. So it's a Dragonblood castle, apparently.
Okay.
So let's say it's the Fortress of the Sun.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah. Because the Dragonbloods are, at least the Azay Dragonblood are very like Mayan. So
Okay.
there's maybe like some sort of like big calendar, like sun calendar type thing that they have there or something like that. Like
Okay.
a sun temple of some sort.
Can I just do like an adventuring roll? Maybe? I don't know.
An adventuring roll?
Yeah, like to figure out maybe it has to do with the sun. Because it's the sun fortress. We must follow the sun at all times. Lead us directly to it.
Would
The
that
wind
be
will guide us.
adventuring-wise?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that. Something dumb, but yet very clever.
Okay, so look at your skills. Like, what do you have that could be used to do that?
Nothing.
Okay, so then you're going to have to find someone else.
Ooh, I can craft things. Is there any way I can make some sort of sun contraption?
What?
I don't know, like a sundial that will guide us.
No.
I don't know.
Doesn't make any sense.
It has to do with the sun. Clearly, we must do something about the sun. There has to be somebody here who has more information about it. I mean, it's a ship, for crying out loud. We already foreshadowed it that even Josh's character, talks about all these fake stories or whatever. There has to be some truth to it somewhere.
The thing is, like, all of the people who just helped with that role are bound to its failure. So John Toast doesn't know anything more. The captain doesn't know anything more. Avion doesn't know anything more.
Is there a character who we haven't talked to that's a loner who wouldn't be at the table?
Make a circles roll.
Okay. That's not a good idea.
Or you can have someone else make a circles roll who has seafaring stuff.
Who has...
Ask John Toast to make a circles roll to find, like, the old man, the oldest guy on the ship who has, like, the most experience and might know something about this.
That's the highest circles roll.
This is the thing. You have to make circles within your own life paths, your own settings. People you would know. That's, like, the point.
Oh, okay. I ask you, John Toast, and I basically start out with, like, I don't feel right about this. I don't think that this is the place. I think there's something we're missing. Is there anybody on this ship who would know something about it like this that we haven't talked to yet? I mean, I know I'm putting a lot of weight into this, and this is just really important to me because it just feels like this is something I was destined to do. Do you ever feel like you were destined to cook? Like this is just something Or
Not
who you are?
really. Not really. I don't feel like it was destined to cook.
Well,
My brother
this
sort of
is how I
gave it his
feel,
job,
and-
but I get it. You're dreaming, and you want to see your dream to be reality. So
yeah.
give me a second to actually make the under circles roll.
Op 3.
Uh-huh.
You could get other sailors to help you if they have relevant circles. Like you could ask Gen to help you if you wanted.
That's true. I will ask again
You can add a
about the
modifier dice.
mercenaries.
Yep, you can add a dice for Gen.
Sweet. 3.
We got 2 6s. That's really
The odds are still against me, but okay.
nice.
And
All right.
Yes.
You succeed by more than one, so that means you get to tell us, Jontos, who is this person who knows more about the sea and its treasures?
Yes.
well, if you're looking for tales of mysterious treasure, old Bert over there is your man. He's missing
Bert.
both his eyes and all his teeth. He's seen more of the sea than any of the rest of us combined.
Yes.
The man was older than the trees before any of us were born.
Yes. Yes.
So do you find Burton? I think it's going to be his name. His nickname is Bert.
I'm just gonna
His full name is Burton.
point him in the general direction of old man, grizzly beard, sort of wound on top of his head like a turban. Folded up over the side and wound up like a turban.
Okay, so you see this guy, and you're surprised you haven't noticed him before,
Really?
because he looks a little out of place when you actually do notice him. So he just must be really really good at like being inconspicuous and not like under not being noticed, because it's this really old man who has like a long white beard, and he has a fishing pole like over the side, and he's just like whistling to himself as he like puts bait on his fishing pole and like into the sea.
All right, cool. So do you lead me to this guy, or do you just kind of do this yourself?
Jontos just said he like pointed across the deck or whatever at the.
Oh, okay. All right. So I like wander over. I'm like, Burton, sir.
Yes.
Nice to meet you, sir. My name is Winter.
Nice to meet
Hold out my hand.
you. Kind of like shakes it.
Uh,
What can I do you for?
well, sir, I'm sure that you've heard of the treasure hunting expedition that we're about to go on. I mean, it's
Treasure? No, I haven't. I don't
you
usually
haven't?
talk to people, and there's like an implication in his words that like why the heck are you talking to him?
well, sir. We've had this amazing revelation about this ancient treasure that is hidden. The sun treasure. Heard anything about it?
Treasure, you say? I may know a thing or two about the sun treasure. Now, I remember the legend, of course. It was 20 years ago, I think I first heard it. And of course, it was the story about the thief who he went into his father's vault and he stole away the treasure. And that's why it's called the Treasure of the Sun, because the sun was the one who got it.
Everything just literally, my jaw just drops. Well, it doesn't, but inside I'm literally like, just destroyed. Like, oh my goodness, I am legitimately destined to get this treasure.
Okay.
It was all like an act or whatever.
Yeah.
But, no, you understand why though, right?
I know totally why, yeah.
Yeah, dude.
So, you want to find where the treasure is, do you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, legend has it that it was stolen away inside a dormant volcano, and only the bravest of warriors could find it again and brave the heat of both the lava and something else have to do with heat. I can't remember.
Dragon.
Oh, well,
I think it was like
I'm
the
sure
heat
we'll
of their
figure that out.
blades or something. I think there's like guards or something.
yeah, I'm sure we'll figure that out. That's not necessarily important. We got this. We got this done.
So yeah, as to where the dormant volcano is, I am not sure.
Well,
Legend has it, though, that it's deep in the heart of some island somewhere in this bay, in the Gulf of Teco.
so obviously that's not all he knows, right?
No.
She got like a 5. Okay. So, and that's all you know about where it is, sir?
The treasure of the sun? Yes, certainly.
Could you steer us in the right direction?
I maybe could. Again, it's been a long time since I've heard the legend. So you said you're trying to look for treasure in these parts, are you?
Yes, sir.
Well, you might have better chance with the treasure in the Fortress of the Sun. Ah, yes. That's just up the coast about 3 days.
Oh. Well, yeah, that's the treasure we were talking about. I didn't know there were two different treasures.
No, that's not the treasure we were talking about. You're talking about the treasure of the sun, which is the treasure that the sun stole. If we're talking about the SUN, the sun up in the sky, I mean, no, there's not a treasure of the sun. That was never referred to like that. It was just the Fortress of the Sun, and there's treasure in the Fortress of the Sun.
And Winter stays calm and just kind of smirks and chuckles a little bit at that. And Eurus just laughs hysterically.
How does this come through since you're one body?
He's just saying, like, if we're inside his head, like,
okay, so we don't see the demon itself.
No.
Yeah,
the demon is laughing and laughing and laughing, and Winter, the only thing that comes out of him is just this little smirk and chuckle.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, but he says, yes, I can give directions to the Fortress of the Sun, no problem. I'll just go up there right away. Have directions for you. Steer off course, shall we? And he clambers up there, like, really hunched and, like, waddles up the stairs and like, gives their directions to his place.
Awesome. Well, you know what time it is.
Yeah, let's go ahead and take
time.
Let's go ahead and take our first break here, because we're a little overdue for one. And then come back and see what happens with Fortress of the Sun.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. We'll be right back with more Burning Wheel in a bit.
Yay.
As you may have noticed in our last segment, we ran across a limit of the game design where we couldn't quite find the right skill for a particular situation. First for Jontos' attempt to cheer the crew up with his stories, and then when Winter was attempting to gather information about a possible rumor. There are several other ways I might have handled these situations now that I'm more intimately familiar with the way the Burning Wheel works, and I thought it would be fun to walk through the scenarios again and do a little impromptu game design. First off, Jontos. He's been using the skill Persuasion to tell his stories and cheer up the crew throughout the game, though we ended up changing the skill to Oratory in the scene, which seems to fit better. This was a perfectly fine solution for the time, but if I was doing it again, I would burn up a custom skill for the art of storytelling. Oratory is speaking to a crowd, which is not quite what Jontos does. Here's an example custom skill for this situation, burned up by a member of the Burning Wheel Discord named Wembley. Storytelling, rooted in will and perception. A good storyteller is a welcome distraction from the toils of daily life. They recount tales of kings, heroes, monsters, and annoying neighbors with equal fervor, and always a little embellishment. Obstacles include personal anecdotes, Ob 1, folktales, Ob 2, histories, Ob 3, legends, Ob 4, and epic poems, Ob 5. The skill type is social, and possible forks include conspicuous, falsehood, oratory, and poetry. I've burned up several other custom skills myself, and I found it to be a useful benefit of understanding the system so well. You start to see areas in which the designers might not have had time to fill in holes, and you can fill them in yourself. The second situation we dealt with today was trying to gather up information on a rumor. This situation has several solutions, most of which we used already. We used persuasion to try to befriend crew members in the hopes of picking up useful information, a solution that I wouldn't suggest these days if a similar scenario came up in a game. Persuasion is for one-on-one convincing, not dredging for rumors. If Winter had known a specific character that had the information he was looking for, persuasion would make sense, but not for an all-in-one rumor-mongering test. Using Seawise or ancient history as we did are good tasks for the intent, as they could easily dredge up a rumor of some sea or ancient history-related legend. The solution I think is best, however, is a simple circles test, which we did end up using later on, but I would have suggested it right at the beginning. Circles is for finding a helpful individual. An easy criteria would have been to set the circles test to find someone who knows of a good legend, probably an OB 2 or 3 test for Jontos in this situation. Another solution would be to burn up a custom skill for gathering information, like the 3rd edition of Dungeons & Dragons had. I burned up a custom skill for this some time back. Gather information, rooted in will. This skill is used for gathering useful tidbits of information from crowds or within the population of a settlement or organization. Can be used as a link test for circles. I had the obstacles for the skill be similar to Wise's, OB 1 for common knowledge, OB 2 for an interesting fact, all the way to OB 8 for freaky details or specifics. It's a social skill, obviously, and would have possible forks like relevant Wises, persuasion, inconspicuous, and interrogation. One last easy solution would be to have a Wise like Rumor Wise or Legend Wise, which could garner a similar result. Well, that's all from the game design table. Let's get back to the action, in the year of Raging Winds.
We are back. All right, so let's figure out this completely improv that I have to do right now. So you have the ship. You're off course. You find this island, and we just skip ahead, and that's what happens. Like, you find this island.
Sweet. And there's a volcano on it?
There's not a volcano on it. It's two completely separate treasures that he was talking about.
Oh, right. Right, of course.
Because he was being super confusing.
Yeah.
It was beautiful, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. My character actually does that. He actually says it. He knows. He's not.
Yeah, he says, "Oh, I thought there was supposed to be a volcano."
Oh, that was the other treasure, of course. Right.
Yeah. And so you kind of come up on it, and it's like.
So this is which treasure again? Then the Sun Fortress or the Sun
treasure of the Fortress of the Sun.
Okay, gotcha.
Not the treasure of the sun.
So. Like, do you know any
inanimate object? It can have treasure.
I'm sure we've talked about this, so I'm just going to go. All right, so dude, let's go. I turned to Avion, I guess, and I'm just like, dude, let's do this.
So yeah, I mean, I think the island looks a lot more wild than you maybe expected. Like, you expected maybe this big fortress or whatever on this island, but like, there are rocks that might be walls, but you're not really sure at this distance, and so. There might have been some really, really old ancient fortress on here, or it might just be a clump of rocks. But this is the island that he leads you to. So,
all right.
I mean, yeah, who's going to go aboard this? And I think it's about this time that like Cadmail comes out. He's like, "What are we doing? I thought we were on a schedule, people."
Well, schedule's about to change, Cadmail. We just thought of something awesome to do, right, Evian?
Treasure awaits.
The look on your face.
This is gonna be great. All right,
guys.
I jump in the boat. I dangerously jump in the boat before it's like that. I'm like, all right, guys, let's go.
Avion, I'm assuming you're going.
I'm going, and probably my wife.
Especially to go to the Sun Fortress. I mean, John Toaster, would your character come?
Fortress of the Sun.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think Gen comes up to you and he kind of like nudges you and he's like all times?
Absolutely. He grabs some food, throws it in a bag, bottle of beer.
Nice.
And a big old cleaver.
Okay, so I think like Gen like looks at the stuff that you're bringing and he's just like, cooking has really gotten to you, hasn't it?
But if people get hungry,
I think it's a good point.
Hungry people are fun to deal with.
It's true.
No, they are not.
Yeah, so I think Cad Bale is just like, I'm going to stay right here, and if you guys aren't back by sundown, I'm just going to leave. Because this is ridiculous.
Give us 2 hours after sunset.
And I think Iris probably wants to go, but Sasuo was like, no, it's too dangerous. Stay with me. And he's like, good point. Yes, there might be bandits around. I need to protect you.
All right, cool, clever.
So I think it's going to be, Avion, Winter, John Toast, and Gen.
But no, I seriously...
The old man, too.
The old man?
Yeah.
And I do tell Cadmiel at least 3 hours after sunset because that whatever treasure is in there might have to do something with the sun. And so if we do need the sun to, shine in a certain light or something like that, right? Maybe it has to be, at sundown. Or maybe there's its own sun inside, and so we only know what the treasure is after the sun goes down and it's all darkness, and then it comes alive. We just gotta wait. Okay? Like, this is going to be the treasure of a lifetime, and we need to make sure that you give us enough time because this is gonna be great. All right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool.
Yeah, so, I mean, if any of you guys had skills in, like, orienteering or, like, tracking or whatever, like, this is where I would have you do that. But since you don't, and I don't want to, like, just have you guys roll over and over again, failing horribly with those things.
Excuse you.
I think... you want to use Falcon Ring?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, Ever.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah, so I'm going to go ahead and... what's your intent here?
To not die.
That's always a good
You're
intent.
trying to find the fortress, right? Like, you're trying
find the fortress and not die.
All right. Up to. All right, you succeed.
Yes.
So I think you spot like at the crown of like the hill that like makes up this island. Like it's like some beaches, that you could land on. So you take like a rowboat over there and like land. But like the base of the island is like this big hill, and so at the crown of the island, they'll spot like some sort of settlement of like ancient times.
Yes.
There's some buildings up there. And I think, like, again, like, you can't, like, just tell you that.
Does a figure 8 in the sky above where?
But yeah, like, you have, again, there's something up there.
Okay.
And you assume that's, like.
And in the entire time the Falcon is up there, I'm kind of like, is it trying to signal you yet?
And I think there's something.
Is that something there?
So, yeah, I think the way it works, because, again, like, you can't just ask, hey, do this stuff. Like, it's just a matter of, like, all right, is there something moving up there? All right. Something of interest up there or whatever, like, and he just circled around the.
I take that back. I'm more fascinated with what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, wow, it can really tell you like where it is. Your Falcon is awesome. But yeah, I'm just complimenting your Falcon and your falconry skills.
Brad, jovially just explain all the ins and outs of falconry.
Yeah. Right, cool.
Burton, sees the circling up there. He's like, that's what I was gonna take you anyway. All right. Follow me! And he, like, waddles off into the jungle.
I just want to call him Old Man Jenkins, but...
Old Man Burton?
Yeah, Old Man Burton.
Nah, Old Man Burton was my father. Just call me Man Burton.
We can do that.
Very funny, Mr. Disney.
So, Man Burton, what is this treasure like?
Well...
Do anything about that?
It's glowy, I think. Because,
glowy? Yeah, that makes sense.
I'm imagining it would probably be made out of gold, but of course we'll have to see when we get there.
And I'm like, what if it controls the power of the sun?
No, it doesn't do that.
What if it's a magical orb that leads us to a wellspring of magic that can somehow give us magic powers?
Oh,
that's probably just very expensive and very, very sellable. There's a word for that. I don't know what that word would be, but there's a word for that.
So, So we get there.
We get warning that there are some people moving up ahead in the underbrush, like in the jungle.
Okay.
So what do you guys do?
I mean,
Defensive positions.
I say, but wait, what if they're friendly?
Defensive positions.
And then with that, like, there's an arrow that like hits the trunk like next to your head.
Huh. So they're not friendly.
John Toast grabs his cleaver, but moves out of the way.
So there are a couple of ways we can do this. Obviously, it's possible to just do like a full like fight, or we could do a bloody versus and just gather up all your advantages on either side and just roll once. Or we could do.
Or I say, wait, guys, let me go talk to them. I think I can. What?
Oh, it's too
I
late
think
for that.
this,
Like, also that you don't understand their language.
right. Wait, says who?
They're speaking tractably.
What about?
You legitimately don't have a skill. That would be a skill.
Oh, darn it. So anyway, yeah, all right.
Yeah,
That's
so
good stuff.
or we could do a smaller fight with just like you three versus like a few Dragonbloods and like kind of abstract the rest of the fight with the other people, so you don't have to worry about a bunch of NPCs rolling.
Let's talk about the fight rules. We've almost hit every one of the more advanced Burning Wheel mechanics at this point. The only one we haven't touched is range and cover. But as I was learning more about how the systems worked, we used Year of Raging Winds to test them out with some lower stakes. I walk our players through the basics of fight as we go, but I thought I'd give you some more context for the system before we begin. The Burning Wheel represents a dangerous, confusing world. In this world, fighting is uncertain, dirty, undignified, bloody, brutal, and ugly. Players control their character's every move, but they don't know what their opponent is going to do. Players square off with their opponents and try to predict what those adversaries are going to do. Players build hands of maneuvers that they use to protect themselves while simultaneously laying their opponents low. Outwitting your opponent and beating him to the punch are major factors when using this subsystem. It's a game of strategy, tactics, and straight-up luck. It's a game where the unskilled can outwit the trained and win, and where the skilled fighter is supremely dangerous in his element. Versus and bloody versus tests are an abstracted and simple way of conducting a martial conflict in Burning Wheel. They use the basic concepts of the game to resolve the fight, but they rely heavily on luck. If you require more control of the outcome, can I try a different strategy? Can't I shake it off and stab him in the throat? Can I just execute him? Use the fight rules. To kick off a fight, each combatant squares off with his opponent. A test is made to determine who has the initial advantage in the upcoming exchange. When you engage your opponent, you try to put yourself at the most advantageous fighting distance. Both fighters test speed plus advantages for a longer stride and longer weapon. The winner sets himself at his best striking distance, and his opponent at his worst possible disadvantage for their relative weapon lengths. The exchange is our round in Burning Wheel. We play out a burst of action in each exchange. Between exchanges, we momentarily regroup and rethink our tactics. We do not play out the exchange in one blast. Like the Duel of Wits and Range and Cover, fight exchanges get broken down into manageable chunks and played out moment to moment. The clash of steel and deadly impact of arrows happens in the volley. Each exchange is broken down into 3 volleys. We play out each volley, one at a time, before moving on to the next. In each volley, a character can perform up to 3 actions. The exact number is determined by his reflexes and current level of injury. Within each volley, we break time down into actions. These are the actual moments of play. A strike with your sword, a block with your shield, a trip with your hobnailed boot. The actions contained in each volley are played out, announced, executed, and resolved before moving on to the next. At the start of each exchange, after engaging or positioning, each player privately chooses his character's actions. The plan is not immutable, but it's what you are committing to for the moment. Players are rewarded for thinking ahead and penalized for having to rethink their course of action. As a player lists what he wants his character to do, he must note in what order he wants those actions to happen. This is very important for determining which actions play off against each other and which slip through uncontested. You can have up to 3 actions in a volley. However, when choosing your actions, your first action plays against your opponent's first action, your second against their second, and your third against their third. Between exchanges in a fight, the combatants maneuver against each other, trying to get an advantage or neutralize their opponent's advantage for the next exchange. This is done before choosing actions so you can best plan your course in the coming exchange. If you're unskilled in a fight, you suffer double obstacle penalties for your standard test actions. In versus test actions, you must generate 2 successes for each one of your opponent's successes. There are 6 actions that anyone can attempt during a fight, regardless of ability: assess, change stance, charge and tackle, draw a weapon, lock, physical action, push, and get up. There are other more advanced actions for those with the martial arts skill or a special weapon. The acts of hitting and damaging a target are combined into one roll for melee weapons in Burning Wheel. Players who meet the obstacle of a test to hit their opponent with the weapon do damage. The more successes over the obstacle, the more damage done. There's a method to it and a limit, too. Damage is done in 3 stages. Successes over the obstacle pushes damage from one stage to the next. The 3 stages of damage for a weapon are incidental, mark, and superb hits. The level of the damage done is determined by successes from the wielder's skill. The actual amount of damage done is based on power. When a player wants his character to take a swing at another character, he tests his appropriate weapon, martial arts, or brawling skill. If he doesn't have an applicable skill, test beginner's luck. The obstacle to hit depends on the action of his opponent, fighting distance, whether or not a character is on his feet, weather, and various other disadvantages. We won't go into more detail than this, though we'll return to discuss the fight rules at a later date. One last addendum is that Jared had to leave the session right as we were starting the fight, and so he is absent for the rest of the session. Let's jump right back into it, in the year of Raging Winds.
We have a whole initiative stack up and character tiles and
No.
the whole D&D
It's
works
actually
for
less
this.
complicated than D&D that way.
Oh, nice.
It's like the volley actions with the Duel of Wits. And the way it works basically is you have these fight cards, which are now in the corner here.
Could I have made myself a sword since I am always inventing something?
No, you couldn't make yourself a sword. You could have like a makeshift like shank or whatever.
Well, like with mending, what if there's just a broken sword? And I was just like, oh, I can fix it. Can I have it?
Sure. I mean, I guess.
Okay, cool.
Again, you're not trained with a sword though, so.
Well, yeah, but I want a weapon over nothing because I don't have any brawling or anything.
Any of us have any fighting?
No.
Ajantos does.
Has knife.
Oh, okay.
So the way it works basically is you have the fight cards there, and then you go to choose, and then you can see all the selection there. Don't put any of them in your hand. You just drag them from there.
Mm-hmm.
And they should drag face down. Yep. Okay. And basically what we do is we just do this the same way. Everybody go to their character sheet. What is your guys' reflexes?
No, there was reflexes.
It's on the left as you go down.
Mine is a 4.
Okay.
Same.
4? Okay. Yeah, basically the way this works, and you have 3, Avion, I just checked. The way this is going to work is that means that each of you will get 3 actions in each of those volleys, or 1 action in each of those volleys. So you basically spread out all of the actions. For reflexes, decides how many actions you get in a fight exchange. You would automatically just spread those up 1 on each of those, and then one of those volleys you get to have 2 actions on. So you can decide to split that up any way you want after that. So each of them have to have 1, then you can add the extra 1 anywhere you want.
And how many volleys are we doing?
It would just be 3. So like the 1, 2, 3 each time. And then if the fight doesn't end by then we would just...
Okay, and is it fight, choose, and draw? Those are the 3 options?
It's all the cards in fight. Most of those are just very like straightforward.
Mm-hmm.
And basically the way we open it up is that we roll. So there's going to be 3 Dragon Bloods fighting against you, and each of them are going to have they have like knives. I'm going to say like that Talia and Gen and the old man are like facing off against like they managed to like ambush the archers that are like up ahead, and so you don't have to worry about them. But these are like some other guys who have like shanks or whatever, and they're coming towards you. There are definitely like crude knives, like not like prison knives, but like stone, like obsidian kind of stuff.
So not like my nice shiny cleaver.
No. At the very beginning, we decide like engagement. Like, how does the battle start off? Like, who's in what range to attack other people, stuff like that. And so that is a speed test. Kick up a fight, each combatant squares off with his opponent. A test is made to determine who has the initial advantage in the upcoming exchange. I'm just assuming, and you can do this any way you want to, but like, there's 3 dragon bloods that are attacking you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can engage them any way you want to. Like, if you want to gang up on one of them, or you can just each take one.
Jontos is a big guy, but he's not very fast. I think he's still going to try to go after. He's going to try to occupy 2 of them in the hopes that the other 2, who he doesn't know if they can fight or not,
right,
can do something about that 3rd one. And actually, let me take a look here at my numbers here. Yeah, okay. Okay, I think I know what I'm doing then. Are we using the combat page on the character sheet?
Yes, we will be for wounds and stuff like that.
Do we use do we use that for weapons and stuff as well?
We would, yes. I'll make sure to write in weapons for now on, since we're kind of familiar. I'm kind of familiar with fight rules now, but I actually have a list in my book here of all the stats for the weapons, so I can just reference that as we're going here. So yeah. So you're gonna take 2, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Don't know how to do this all that well, but
basically what this is going to be doing is each of you go ahead and make a speed test. What kind of weapons do you have? So Josh, you have a cleaver, so that's like a knife, basically.
Yes.
Jared, you have, what weapon do you have? Do you have a weapon?
I have my fists.
That's true. You could also like a stick or something if you wanted to.
Rock.
Yeah.
Rock would be much better.
So basically, it's going to be Winter and End of Avion versus one of them, and Jontos versus 2 of them.
To start with, I'm going to want help in a moment, but hoping to allow them to land a first blow.
So everybody go ahead and make a speed test, and this is going to be changed by the type of weapon you have. So each of them have knives. Mm-hmm. So Jontos, you're not going to be doing any sort of advantage or disadvantage here because you both have the same weapon length. Mm-hmm. Connor, because you have a sword. Do you have a short sword or a long sword?
Long sword.
Okay. Then you get plus 2 dice on this speed test.
Oh, wow.
Sweet.
So long sword does help. Cool. And then because of my leg, was that just my speed is capped, or do I actually get a negative modifier?
I think your speed is capped, yeah.
I got a 5.
Oh, my. With 3 6s, no less.
I have to save that though. Oh my gosh! Wait, how important is speed?
It's pretty important. Yeah, like this decides the whole volley for who has advantage and who has disadvantage. And I'll actually roll a speed test on them real quick. After I do the roll, then you can decide.
Okay.
Oh wow, I do not have a good speed roll. I'm using Podino's character sheet for this, and I forgot he had a light wound, so I have to take that off first.
I was going to say.
Okay, so they got 2.
So if I spent a fate point and rerolled 3 6s, would that be really good or no?
No, it wouldn't do anything.
Okay, all right.
Can he spend a fate point to use those 6s for somebody else?
Nope. So yeah, go ahead and roll your speed there. That's going to be their speed roll.
Maybe on roll them. Okay.
So you tie with them.
Mm-hmm.
So the tie goes to the opponent with the longest weapon, what it says. I'm just going to go ahead and give it to you because I think your cleaver is just a little bit longer than theirs, but not like...
I mean, he did specify that he grabbed a really long cleaver.
Yep.
He did specify he grabbed a big cleaver as opposed to a kitchen knife. Or, small normal kitchen knife.
You have the advantage. So basically the way that works is I'll give them a +1 ob because I think I'll just count your cleaver as a short then. +1 ob. All of their tests are going to be at +1 ob during this exchange of these 3 volleys.
Mm-hmm.
Because basically it's like, they're trying to be up in your face, like really close, and you're keeping them just enough so you have advantage with your cleaver because it's a little bit longer, but they don't have as good as striking with their short knives.
Okay, cool.
Connor has the sword. And so, yeah, he gets +2 lob against the guy he's fighting. So yeah, now we go ahead and lay out actions in order there. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and lay down their actions here.
Are all of these available to us?
Yeah, all these are available to you except for like block and strike. You have to do if you have a shield. Most of the rest of them are available to you. But you
Fire
can ask me.
crossbow obviously isn't, but yeah. Okay, I'm sorry. I think I see.
So want me to put all 3 down now, or all 4 down now?
Yes.
Not so really sure what each of these do, but they sound right. So.
Yep, that's literally just about to say the same thing. All right, I'm done.
Same.
Yep. And so because they only have 3 reflexes, this will be done like without anything opposing it.
The second one? Okay. Okay, we'll see how this works.
All right, so we're going to go ahead and have everybody flip over their first card.
Okay.
And we'll see what everybody's going to do. So the way this is going to work, let's just go ahead and do the one fighting winter first. It is, let's see, strike versus...
Counter-strike.
Counter-strike is versus skill. So it's your skills that are going to be versus each other here. Unfortunately, they have a skill and you do not have the skill strain.
No, I do. Corruption.
Oh, what can you do with that again?
Spend a fate point and use it as a sword.
Oh, you totally could, couldn't you?
Uh-huh.
Wow, that's actually pretty cool.
Oh, boy. Are evil characters OP in this game? Because that would be cool.
The only question is, did I get any fate points last game? Because I didn't do it for Eurus' character, I know that. I forgot to add the fate points for him.
I have no idea. For 1 persona point, a sorcerer may substitute corruption for any character thing. It's a persona to completely replace it. But if you completely replaced it, it wouldn't be untrained, so.
Okay, I'll spend it.
Okay. Let me look at what Counter-Strike does.
Plays at 30 FPS on most consoles or most PCs.
Counter-Strike tests your weapon, brawling, or boxing skill after actions are revealed but before your opponent rolls. Divide your fighting skill and any advantages into 2 pools, 1 for defense and 1 for attack. Versus test, use the defensive portion to oppose your opponent's action. Successes from your defense reduces his successes. Okay. Spend a persona. You have 5 dice to work with, plus any irrelevant forks if you have any.
Can I fork in mending because I literally made this?
No.
What? But I know exactly how this sword works because I literally fixed it myself.
No, that would have been like a linked test, but we didn't actually make the test. I just gave it to you, so.
All right. Well, I got nothing then.
So you're just gonna split up those 5 dice. How much is going on defense and how much is going on attack?
So do I get a bonus here because I'm counter-striking and he's striking?
No, but basically what it is you're defending and attacking at the same time, which is something you wouldn't normally be able to do in the same volley. So you're splitting up your dice between defending and attacking.
Oh, okay.
So you're going to use your defense dice to oppose his skill at strike.
And okay, so let's say I get a 2 with my defense, and he gets a 3. Does that mean he only gets 1 die over me?
Any hit that ties or goes above, it automatically just does an incidental strike, which does half of the opponent's power rounded up damage. But the more successes he gets above it, the more he can spend those successes on aiming at a specific area or upping the amount of damage that the strike does. But not in like a 1-to-1 ratio. It depends on the weapon. So what are you going to do?
I'll go 2 for defense and 3 for attack. Do I still get a bonus for my sword and he has a dagger, or is that just for speed?
What it will do is we'll add 2 successes just automatically to your roll. That's what it will do.
Dang, to both sides?
No, just to you. It will add 2 successes to whatever, or yes. Yes. Yep. Add 2 successes to any of your rolls.
So for the 2 and 3, how do I roll that? Or do you just want to roll it?
I'm going to go ahead and roll the knife here. And this is just for their strike, so it's just against your whatever you get for defense. They got 2 successes.
And the 3 would not be a success, so we just tie.
No. If it's... Oh, you're rolling... Okay, so you're rolling those. Okay.
Is that what I was supposed to do?
Yeah, it is. So it succeeds... Or you got the 2... Yeah, you get the extra 2 successes. So that does mean they do get an incidental hit against you.
Oh.
So incidental is achieved when the player meets his obstacle hit. So luckily, Podino is not a very powerful person.
No, he is not.
I am just using his stats, though, so they do have a gray shade knives.
Yeah.
I didn't factor that in.
Yeah, this is definitely not an evenly matched match. Just an FYI.
Yeah. We are dead.
So it really only does 1. So I don't even think that counts for anything on your sheet.
Oh, cool.
So you would go to combat here. So for him, that is a bruised, and that's literally nothing. It has no mechanical effect. So Winter, your counter-strike. You had 3 dice with that. You got 2 successes. The ob for you is only 1.
Yep.
He's not defending. So, which means you get 1 success over, and you're using a longsword. Oh, wow, I forgot the weapon power. Except their knives don't have any added weapon power, so it doesn't matter. Okay, cool. All right, so, yeah, your longsword, Connor, does... what's your power?
4.
So it's half of that rounded up. So that's 2, and then you get added 3 because you have a sword. So you did a 5 wound.
Dang.
Oh, wow. B5, man, Connor. Podino had crap stats. Podino now has a serious wound. Which means, I believe, he goes unconscious. Yep. So that guy goes unconscious. You just incapacitated him. The defender gets to decide where you hit. So you hit him in the arm. So yeah, I think you just cut off the guy's arm.
Hey, Demon Sword Man, you want to give me a hand?
You cut off the guy's arm. Yeah, so what does that look like, Connor? Like when you're using corruption?
He just gives it over to Eurus. Not in a mechanical sense, but in a story sense. He lets Eurus guide him.
Okay.
So he's cool and calm and collected, I guess. Down, 2 to go.
Yeah, one is down, so they're not.
This is awesome.
So you're avoiding this strike feint, Ganto. Strike hits versus skill. Feint, nothing happens. I don't think you can feint against the avoid. So nothing happens. The guy does a feint, and because you're doing avoid, it just doesn't do anything because it's neither of them. They just negate each other. So he's just going to do a strike against your avoid. So your avoid is based on speed. Yeah, avoid tests your speed, and then it's just against his knife,
which is great shaded.
Yes, but he does an one up penalty. So it's just going to be an added success to whatever you roll here.
Okay.
Versus test. So it's 3, so he still hits you.
Ooh.
But only for an incidental. So you get to choose in this situation, Josh. I mean, it's just going to be a 1. Actually, yeah, no matter what, it's just going to be a 1. Oh, no, actually, he has an add of 1, so he can make it into a full. So it's 2.
Here we go.
I'm not sure if that... It's still bruised, though, so it does nothing.
Oh, okay.
Okay, everybody flip over the next stuff. Winter, now that you don't have anyone to actually engage...
I love your charge tackle thing.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. Which is totally going to kill me because that guy has strike and he has a great shielded knife. But, I've still had a game plan and it was going to be awesome. It relied on not having a strike on both times.
You can change an upcoming action in the exchange as long as you don't do it before it's announced. But obviously you can change this because we didn't know that. All right, so you just test to engage the other opponent. So you're just going to engage, Connor, one of these Dragon Bloods. You can just test to do the speed test to engage them. So just go ahead and do that. Make another speed test with +2 dice because you have a longsword, and I'll make the speed test for them.
How about you do the one that's about to kill me?
Yeah, that was my plan. I'm not going to attack the guy who's blocking. That's for sure. Only a 3.
You still succeeded though, so I got a 2.
Okay.
Yeah. But then he gets +2 successes to that, right?
No, it's just modifier.
He's engaging again. Like that.
Oh,
that's the point.
This is the
for that one
this
opponent.
Is not the storm.
Yep.
Okay.
So basically, what happens, Connor, is you engage that person, and you can still do your feint if you want to. You don't want to change that action.
What does that mean?
Feint means you pretend to strike, and then they. Yeah, I guess what does it mechanically mean?
It only really works against defensive actions.
Oh.
And
could I have just said that I was going against the blocking guy then? Because
yes, just do that.
I didn't know what that meant. Okay, cool.
Yep. So you're just gonna make an ob1 test with your sword.
Yay!
Let's do that first.
Does it carry over? Does the corruption thing carry over since this is the same encounter? Or is only one test?
It's one test. Yeah.
Crap. Well, I am Scrooby Dooby Dude. Sword is power, I'm assuming?
No, sword is based on agility.
Really?
Yep.
Cool. Yeah, we might as well. Yeah, I'm going to spend the fate on this one. Well, okay, if I succeed this feint test, what does it do?
Basically, it's just like a regular strike, except it's the only strike that doesn't have to be versus their block. So basically, what happens is this guy like blocks. And I think he's probably like trying to block the John Toast's. She's just generally blocking to make sure that John Toast doesn't like attack him or whatever. And you just find an opening where like he's blocking like to this side, and you just like squeeze in and just cut him like in a space.
Well, I was assuming that himself. I go up like this, and he raises his shield, and I just swing up and under it.
Sure.
Or down and over.
Yep. So just roll your sword like you would. Base ob is 2.
Okay.
Because it's an ob 1 test, but it's doubled because you're untrained.
Well, then the base ob is 1 because it'll automatically do that.
Yes. Sorry. Base ob is 1. All right. So you succeed then. With 2 successes over, so you can make it be one damage category higher if you want to.
Yes.
There's also a 6 there.
Well, I just spent my last fate point on that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Winter's last fate point. I'm not sure what yours has, but I'm on Winter's character sheet.
All right, so that's your full power plus 3.
Oh crap! Yeah, my full power plus 3.
Yep.
So 7.
You just chop his head off.
Holy crap! So I go down, and he lowers his shield, and I just swing up and cut off his head, dude. Okay, so then my next attack is.
All right, don't do it yet.
Okay.
Because
I need to stab first.
Yep.
Right.
Because my amazing plan to take out 2 enemies.
Well, it worked really well for me.
It did for you.
Yeah.
Charge tackle versus strike. So let's see. That's
probably just me running straight onto the point of his knife and dying.
Half of your fort is what it says. I don't know exactly what that means. Let me look. You don't have any stride advantage, so. Oh, sorry. Charge tackle must be your first. First action in the volley. Never mind. It's a volley, not exchange. Okay, we're good.
Okay.
You test your fort. So are you charging the opponent or are you tackling? The difference.
I'm trying to get a hold of him because at the same time as I'm doing this, Connor is cutting the other guy's head off.
Oh, so you're actually testing your power against half of the other person's fort? Yeah, I'm assuming it's half their fort, so that's just a 1. So
I like this.
So you're going to go ahead and do your power. So if you tackle, you take your opponent down with you. If you win the versus test by a 1 or meet your obstacle in a standard test, you stagger your opponent. He's at +1 ob to his next test, whatever it may be. If you win the versus test by 2 or exceed your obstacle in the standard test, you knock your opponent down.
Base ob is 1.
Yep.
I kind of like that number, but I feel like I'm going to spend a fate and open end those 6s. So at 2 of them?
You don't actually have to open end those because if you just exceed your obstacle, you just knock them down. Like that's what happened.
Okay.
But he does get the strike in before you land the blow because it's all happens simultaneously. It's just his next action. He'll have to choose to do something different. So he's going to go ahead and roll strike here. He has a +1 ob. Got 1 over. So the add-on knife is 1. So he makes it his full power, so that's 2. It doesn't do anything. So.
Nice. Okay.
All right, you had me scared there for a moment. I was looking at Josh's face like, oh boy, I don't know what's just happening, but doesn't look good.
So you knocked him down, and then that's basically it for that one. I mean, you killed the other guy, Connor, so I'll delete him.
Yep.
Everybody flip over the last. Or wait, you guys have extra actions. Yep.
Well, honestly, no. Okay, no. Yeah, I'll do it anyway.
So I'll flip over your card, Connor. Oh, we got a great strike.
I was going to throw him into his buddy. But since the buddy's not there, I'm just going to chuck him.
You're just going to
throw him at me.
That'll work. Yes, I'll throw him toward you, the guy you just decapitated, the other guy.
Yeah.
So
I'll throw him straight at you.
So that's
how about you look over thinking that the guy is still there?
Josh, that's
no wonder I just killed him.
Boxing skill.
Boxing?
Yeah.
Of all things.
Which is basically like martial arts.
Oh.
The obstacle is, I mean, I don't think they can.
And what's boxing based on? Please tell me power.
It should be based on ability, actually.
Oh, well, same number, I guess. Anyway.
Yeah, the thing is here, like, you're not. I think you can just do it no matter what.
Okay.
Just make it an ob 1 because I don't know what it will be here.
Okay. That was easy enough.
All right, so you just throw him.
It was going to be all awesome. I was going to tackle the guy and then throw him into his buddy. And
what happens? Yeah, I mean, you were going to throw him into his buddy, and so you just do that without thinking about it. But his buddy's been decapitated. You throw him right at Winter's feet, and I think you just do the great strike on the guy, Connor.
Yeah.
So that is. I mean, it's just ob 1.
Really?
because I knocked him over with the tackle.
Yeah.
So he has to hesitate for the.
He also doesn't have an action. Yeah, like he
either hesitate or penalty. And yes, we also have the speed advantage on this guy. Podino really wasn't a very good head. It wasn't a very good melee fighter.
No, he was not.
So yeah, great strike. Oh, great strike costs 2 actions to perform.
Dang it!
Just make it a strike. Just make it a strike instead.
All right. Okay. So 2 modifiers.
It's ob 1.
2 modifiers for the sword, right?
Yes. All right. So you just do what is it? Half of your power.
Power's 4, so 5.
Yeah. You do the same thing you did last time. You serious wound. He's incapacitated. So you just stab him in the chest, and there you go. I mean, that's the whole thing. You just stab him in the chest, and then they're both dead. That was actually pretty like good for you guys. Like if I would have used any other stats but Podino, you probably would have died.
Yep.
Because they got some good hits on you. It's just they didn't have any power.
Yeah. We also have never used the rules before. So
yeah.
I think this was a great way to learn. I like the volley system so that it's not like I'm going to do a thing and then they're going to do a thing and then I have to sit here helpless while my 2 team members are also doing things and are dying over there and there's nothing I can. No, we pick what we're going to do ahead of time.
And that also adds to the chaos of battle, like, right? Like you're set of like, all right, I'm going to do this stuff, but then even if it doesn't necessarily make sense, I mean, you could change your action, but it costs hesitation.
So like Podino coming in and taking out that other guy. I mean, it worked out well this time that I decided to throw the guy.
Yep.
But
cool. I mean, yeah, you dispatch the rest of the peeps, and the battle is over. So, I mean, I think what happens is, you like finish off all those people. 2 of them are technically just have serious wounds. So, and there might be others that just got wounded and not killed. So you could try to interrogate them.
Do we just want to end it there because of Jared not being here? Or do you just want to
keep the thing, like, my plan originally was to just this be the end.
Mm-hmm.
But I guess we might have to just do it another Monday.
I mean, if you want it to end here, I literally have the perfect ending.
Okay, what would be the ending?
All right, so we interrogate these guys, and we do end up finding some sort of thing, some sort of magical artifact or whatever. But on the way, Jontos or Avion gets mortally wounded by one of the lizard people or by some sort of trap. And so I find some sort of artifact or whatever, bond with it, get the power of essential discipline again, and heal them. And then I'm like, worship me. I think it'd specifically be cool if it was Jontos who got mortally wounded and I also healed his leg.
Oh, that'd be kind of cool.
Because that was like a lot of unintentional foreshadowing earlier, too.
Exactly.
I want my leg back, but I'll settle for less. Keep dreaming, kid.
Yeah.
Wow. Wouldn't that be awesome? So I'll leave it up to, I think we should leave it up to Jontos or whether or not he thinks that's cool.
Yeah. Well, so we go up, that all happens. I'm totally down with that happening.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys assume worked out more specifics about this character than me or the audience knows.
Yeah.
And so it does make sense for what you're planning for this character to have the essential discipline.
Yeah.
It's not.
Does that work?
Okay, so
yeah, that works.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's not like earlier Jared was bartering for Dean's points for.
And again, like this character is going to be an NPC. Like Connor's not going to play Winter again.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
Just wanted to make sure that you're not doing a double standard and not giving Jared his deeds points, but you're giving Connor his essential discipline.
Hey, I gave Jared the essential discipline.
That's true.
You didn't give him his deeds point.
I didn't give Connor a deeds point. I just gave him the essential discipline.
He must have. But I think that's really all he needs to white shade his seduction, if I remember properly.
Probably.
Wait, really?
For Alphonse? Yeah.
He has a lot of fate and persona on that skill, man.
Dude.
Let's go to that point where it's, like you find this, and I think it's like this sun medallion.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so.
So there was a son. I thought it was daughter.
And can I hide it from everybody? Can I not have? Can I pick up something else next to it and say that it was the thing and just bond to the sun medallion and pretend that the thing I have in my hand is really what's giving me the power?
Is there more than just the sun medallion in the treasure area?
Yeah, there's other stuff.
Okay, that's perfect.
So that's probably plausible.
So Eurus is just going to roll a falsehood. So for modifiers, what does hatred do? So I need this falsehood to go well. So I just want to know whether or not I can spend fate because of hatred to add something to my falsehood roll, like I can with corruption.
No, you can't.
Okay, that's all I need to know. Can I just do one falsehood roll for everything? Or do you want me to do a falsehood roll and then like a poisonous platitudes to ask them to worship me?
So what are you trying to do exactly?
I want to hide the medallion that nobody knows that I bound to it.
All right,
and leave it in the treasure room.
That's inconspicuous or stealthy.
Okay, so not falsehood.
Nope, you're hiding it, Con. You're doing a physical action.
I don't want to hide it. I don't want to touch it at all. I'm going to pick up something else. I'm going to bind to it and pick up something else and say that this is giving me this magical power.
I feel that you can just do that and bind to it and then just put it down. Like, you're fine.
Yeah,
like
that's what I figured.
Yeah, it's not a big deal.
So then I roll a falsehood about picking up something else and pretending it's some sort of magical artifact or item that is no, that won't help me at all. No, so Jantos gets hurt and I'm searching through the treasures or whatever, and I pick up the sun medallion, put it back down, start some more, and then I turn around and say, I guess it is time to reveal my divinity. And I just heal Jantos.
Okay.
Wholly and completely.
Okay. I'm down with it.
Jantos.
How do you react to that?
With a steel test.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
I don't think I want to succeed this steel test. Okay, what are my options? Because I love hearing them.
You can stand and drool. You can run away screaming. Swoon.
I hope he runs away screaming.
Fall prone.
I'm going to do that.
Fall prone?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
How so?
Well, he just claimed to be divine, and I was seriously injured, and now he's magically healed my leg and my injury. He's obviously divine, and I'm going to worship him.
That's
cool. All right, sweet. So, this is why we need
the rest of the people in the room are just like, what? What? And really, what I think happens, Connor, is we just cut there. Like, that's the end.
Okay.
And then I think we'll figure it out. Like, when we get to.
Mm-hmm.
So you should just ask everybody. Kind of like what they would do, and then you just decide what happens to all the characters, and then reveal it to us when we meet it in the other campaign.
Mm-hmm.
Don't tell us.
Yes. Yeah. I have ideas, but that's better. Because that makes us surprised by our characters' behaviors now.
So just ask Jared what he would do if that happened.
Yeah.
And then ask Trevor what he would do if we came back with all of that happening. And then ask Adam what he would do when we came back with all that happening. And then figure out all the details and then let us know in Crow Inquisitors as we discover it ourselves.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun. All right, cool.
I'm super down. All right. I mean, this basically turned out how I wanted it to do, is give me a direction for these characters.
we're almost done with today's episode. Since this is the last episode of Year of Raging Winds, we take some extra time after we go through beliefs, instincts, and traits and hand out Artha to do a short trait vote and discuss the denouement of the episode and the show in more detail. Let's jump into it.
Yeah, let's go ahead and do fate. So let's start with you, Glitch.
All right, so I know that this demon is all I have, and I'll find a way for me to coexist with it, no matter the cost. I'll start by proving myself worthy of control of my life. It wasn't anything too major with that.
Yeah, I know.
I kind of gave him control, afraid of dying. I want to find someone else to share my life with, someone that truly understands who I am and respects me for who I am.
Hey, you tried.
That was just a glorious, massive awkward. Scene was fun.
Instincts never make yours angry. Always blame yours, even if I am the one in fault. Always inventing something.
None of those got you into trouble. So I think I would give you fate for brave, because that got you into trouble. I mean, just like, hey guys, let's go onto this island and go search out this treasure.
Then for Eurus, I will take complete control of Winter in order to complete the plans of my master. I will start by making sure he feels worthless and incomplete without me. He did a pretty good job of that.
Wait,
The people on this ship,
master. That's glorious.
the people on this ship could serve me well. I will do whatever I can to make sure they trust, serve, and follow me, whether they know it or not.
I would say that was completed. I would say that's a persona right there.
I will find something else of major power to bind myself to in order to fulfill the plans of my master and become an immensely powerful force.
And persona,
That's a persona.
although you technically didn't actually like roll for any of those things, really.
Sweet. Instincts. Always use humans to do my will. Always help the master with every breath. Always demoralize Winter.
None of those got things got you into trouble. So
Yeah.
I don't think
Poisonous ambition, thunderous
and none of
voice.
your
stumble
traits
before
got
my
you
master.
nowhere, so.
Okay. You also have to come up with who my master is, by the way, and have to be really.
I totally know who your master
really cool.
is. What are you talking about?
he's already 4 steps ahead of you, Connor.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Dantos.
Hi. I want to make the best of my new situation, so I'll try to make friends with the crew. I definitely work toward that. I've been unhappy and I don't want others to feel that way, therefore I will cheer up others with my wonderful stories.
You tried. They didn't work, but
My brother got me this job as a cook, so I'll be the best flaming cook I can be. I work toward that for certain. Instincts. Always look for the best in a situation. I don't think that got me into trouble. Always have a good story. It didn't really get me into trouble. There's drinking to be done. I'll be part of it. I actually did some drinking this time, but
you did, but it
didn't get me into trouble.
Yeah.
Kind of hoping I could get into trouble for that because I haven't gotten points for that one yet. And I think we can say that crippled and unlucky.
Yeah.
Because I got mortally wounded and then magically healed. So I'd even say that since the end of the encounter, we could vote crippled off of me.
Oh, wait, yeah, definitely. I mean, this is the end of the scenario, so yeah. Is there any trait we want to vote on to Jontos?
Believe? Is there
what
a
if we gave him faith?
Yes.
Yes.
Give them all faith. Yes. Give them
No, I think
all
I think Jontos specifically. If anybody else goes, it would be faithful would be the trait there. If there's
You will feed my army.
If the other people like follow you, I don't think they would do it quite as fervently as Jontos is going to.
Gen might.
That's true. Gen might.
Gen really might.
So you're legitimately worshiping a demon. I mean, that's what's happening.
Yep. He's divine. He led us to this place where he could reveal his power, and he saved my life, and he gave me my leg back, and everything is wonderful. He doesn't know it's a demon. He doesn't care.
Okay, so I have a few questions for you, Jontos, and this will decide your beginning faith. Whom do you trust most?
Winter.
When in danger, whom do you consult for aid?
Winter.
Ultimately, how can you best serve your allies?
Best serve my allies?
Mm-hmm.
Winter.
Yep. So your starting faith is 6.
Wait, serious?
Yep.
If the player answers with the name of the deity?
Yep.
Wait, serious?
Yeah. That's how it works. If that's legitimately true about your character, then you start off with...
I mean, he's going to look to Winter for aid and for guidance and for...
Oh, Winter's going to start a cult.
And Jontos is going to be his high priest.
Oh, great. And you're gonna you're gonna sermon everything.
He has the sermon illustrations. All the sermon illustrations.
Oh no! But I'm just imagining, because I love Jonto so much as a character, like his jovialness. Like he's just gonna slowly be corrupted by this force and just be more and more like just evil, and that just horrifies me.
Yeah.
This game is so much fun.
It's like he didn't have another goal, he didn't have another path, and then winter came along, and now he's got a reason to live.
Legitimately. And I think, yeah, what part of it is just like this whole cooking thing. You're just like, all right, but like I succeeded on this, but like the whole thing is that I'm just at the status quo, right? Like I'm making okay meals. Like that's the whole thing. It's like, what is that what I want? Is that my aspiration in life? Like really?
And now he has something to worship. See, everything is working out perfectly.
Did we find this?
For everybody.
Did this just happen? Because this is amazing.
This is so perfect.
Honestly, it's the right answer for this character.
It is. It's the right answer for this campaign. And in my perfect world, if this was an actual like movie of something,
Like show, yeah.
How this would end is Winter comes back with the gang, and Avion is like hesitantly like okay, I guess we have to do this guy once, but I don't know what's going on. And then what's her name is probably super afraid. Talia is probably super afraid that I'm going to kill him or kill anybody, and so she's probably on guard, but can't do anything because I'm a god. And so everybody's just kind of afraid. And Jontos and Gen are like, dude, this guy's a god. This is cool. And then we come back to the ship, and Cadmiel tries to, betray us or whatever, and he freaks out, and I end up having to kill him. And I end up convincing everybody that he was evil all along, and he was in on it with Pudino, and we maroon him on an island.
Oh my gosh. If Trevor's down with that, like
we maroon him on an island.
But he lives.
He lives.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the thing, is that we marooned him on an island.
Uh-huh.
And everybody is fully convinced that I am for their good well-being as well, and that I promise every single one of them everything that they want if they will follow me.
And I say, Jontos will totally back it up.
Exactly.
Jontos is like, I dreamed. I told Winter my dreams that he made them come true. And
I
basically go total fanatic because
exactly. So then I did the same for the captain.
Enough for too.
Yeah.
I did the same for the captain, and as I say, Captain, all of the treasure is yours, and do with it what you will.
Wow.
The entire ship, this entire treasure is yours. In exchange, I want you to follow me because of the dreams that you have can become real. The dreams that you have can become reality.
This guy is insidious.
Mm-hmm. And so you guys get all the treasure, and of course I make sure the sun medallion isn't in there and leave that on the island. But so everything else is perfect and fine. And then as I go out, I heal all the lizard folk that we killed.
Okay.
So that they're still there to protect the sun medallion in case anybody else comes back. And I probably improve upon them even as I leave, make them more powerful, and close off like
the essential discipline is capable of.
So I think what happens then, Connor, I think you have the physical discipline instead of the essential discipline.
Oh, physical discipline?
Yeah, because the physical discipline is like you change like the anatomy and stuff.
Which would totally.
The essential discipline is like you just like basically have this like ambiguous like energy that you just kind of pump into people. It's like life energy.
Oh, okay.
It can heal them a certain amount, but it can't like just bring people back to life. It can't.
Physical discipline would be able to repair my.
Yep. Physical discipline would have been
perfect. And then it's a different power as well as the other one.
Yep.
So then it's even more perfect. All right. So that's that then. As I leave, I collapse the cavern that had the thing, heal all the people, make them stronger, and nobody knows that this happens because I do it subtly, and make sure that nobody else is around for it, kind of a thing. And so then as we leave, we send Cadmiel on some abandoned island, and then I give them all of the treasure, and I say, there's more of this than this came from.
I mean,
treasures that you can't even imagine.
Connor, did you just leave Cadmiel on that island?
Yeah. So yeah. Whether or not you want to use that or not.
No, I mean that's totally what happened.
Okay, cool.
I'll ask all the characters like what they would do. And if Cadmail is different than that, I mean, then,
So that'll all work out. And I think Iris, I'm not sure about Iris.
Yeah, I'm not either.
It's like he would buy the whole. I would think that he would buy the God story hook, line, and sinker.
Mm-hmm. But whether or not he would want to follow me with
that's the question.
So what God are you pretending to be? Are you making up a new steward? Or are you?
I don't say anything. I just say I'm a god.
Okay.
I don't think that anybody in the crew is theologically literate enough to know that there'd be even, to really understand that there are patron saints and then the one circle.
Again,
God.
that's the Serrano religion, right? Like the Duum-Body religion is a lot more like just like Greek pantheon style.
But here's the thing: is if somebody asks, I say that I am the god of dreams.
And I
do
I have to say, like, when you were doing that, like, did that dream line to everybody, I was like, this is like literally perfect. Like, it makes so much sense for this character to use that line on like everyone. Like, it's so good.
So yeah.
Okay, so the thing, if you were pretending to be one of the Garrett gods, like, you could legitimately just pretend to be Atarian, like the main god, who's the god of sun.
I could do that. And I just say that I harness the power of the sun at the Sun Fortress if I wanted to. But the story I go with is that if somebody asks me what god I am of, I say, I'm not sure if the word will translate well. The best way I could describe it to you is I am the god of dreams. And I just kind of leave it like that. Yeah. So there's room for so much more than this word dreams, but
the dreams has multiple meanings and awesome surrounding it, but also nightmare.
Yeah.
Also evokes nightmare.
I love that. That's so good.
This is amazing.
What's the thing though? Like, is especially with the new Amhadi stuff, like that's totally not unheard of for someone to ascend to godhood, right? Like,
really?
No, it's not unheard of. At least in legend, like in legend, it's not.
Yes,
like that would be a legitimate thing you could convince people of.
Because I'm the god of dreams, and if somebody doubts me, I just say you're not dreaming big enough. This can exist. You're just pragmatic.
That's really cool.
This is the kind of insidious, leading, demigod god character.
So
people,
and then for Cadmail,
this is the kind of character that I watch in books and I hate so very much.
Yeah,
so powerful, so convincing.
And then for Cadmail, I basically say he's a heretic because he's too pragmatic. He's not much of a dreamer.
Not a dreamer.
Perfect.
I do need to ask: was any of this beyond the fact that Winter and Eurus would play some form of part? Was any of the circumstances?
Nothing.
Absolutely
I had these plans. I mean, not specifics, but I had.
I knew that Connor wanted to try to. Yeah, I knew that Connor wanted to try to like convert all of you guys to his like to like follow him or whatever. It wasn't necessarily a religion, but like
everything that was on my character sheet in the intent of making you guys all my followers was literally the only thing that I planned. The thing that I asked Caleb at the beginning of this was, can I find some sort of artifact that gives me powers? Because that's what I wanted to do. And so he was always asking me, like, what do you want to happen in this session? So I was like, all right, this time I actually want something to happen in this session. I want to be able to find some sort of power and get it. But I thought that I didn't think they would actually succeed because my stuff never succeeds. But
this is the thing, though. Like you.
This is why Connor. This is why Caleb was allowing me to make so many CWISE tests.
Well, this is the thing. Yeah, well, this is the thing. Like we didn't cheat, right? Like you guys made rolls that were completely legitimate rolls. You found ways to find other ways to roll, and you succeeded on those on the rolls that mattered.
Yeah, absolutely. This story went that way. It's not. You didn't railroad us into it. You let us work further than maybe you would had you been just trying to get us to the city. But it was totally worth it, honestly.
Yep. We got to try the fight rules. There's a cult now.
Which I really like the fight rules.
I'm totally sold on the fight rules.
Yeah, that was
totally sold on the fight rules.
They say in the game, and usually like I probably wouldn't have had that be a fight. with the fight rules, because they suggest to only do like boss battles, like really important battles with the fight rules. But I just wanted to do it because I want to try it out and stuff. So
yeah. I mean, it was fun. I can see how awesome that would be for a boss battle.
Mm-hmm. But at the same time, fighting low-level NPCs could go really wrong really fast. And the fight rules aren't forgiving enough that you could have your low-level gate guard take out half the party by mistake.
Mm-hmm.
If you did the number slightly wrong, or if they got really bad rolls.
Yeah.
I mean, legitimately, if they have a spear and like you lose the engagement
you're dead.
Roll at the beginning, you're just dead. Like they have you at range, you have this knife, and you cannot close in on them, and they just stab you with a spear.
Because that's how it would go down in real life.
Legitimately, yeah. Which is why fight works the way it does. So this entire game is built to be a medieval life simulator. So.
Which means if you want to be an assassin, you need to have your stealth, and you need to have your knife.
Which is the problem with Podino.
I was just about to
say
that.
0 skills.
Yep.
Because he was a slave.
Yep.
And yet his 0 skills.
He decided to gray shade his agility and gray shade his knife, which took away a lot of his points that he could have worked with.
Mm-hmm.
I figured I might as well just gray shade as much as I can, and then my plan is that I will stab people.
No, that's the thing. Like, I loved that character. I like Podino for being the horribly statted character.
Yeah.
Because it made perfect sense. He's just this desperate lizard who wants to kill people, and he fails at it. And he just gets marooned, and that's it. That's his whole arc. Like,
and that's the thing, is everything was perfectly foreshadowed, even with just a random Podino guy who gets marooned.
Cadmail. Yeah.
And so, it foreshadows all of that. And then it also just gives us a chance for someone to try to take advantage of all these characters and epically fail. And then somebody comes along and does it masterfully. Mm-hmm. And that's the story, is all of these characters, they, go against this assassin who's just a bad assassin and epically fail. And they're like, well, we'll just maroon him on this thing. And then, oh, what's this guy? Well, this guy seems cool. Oh, he's a god. Let's follow him. And then it's
literally.
You just fell for the same thing the second time and not the first time. And it's so good. It's so good.
Yeah.
So good.
Which is why it was interesting, because I was like, Connor's playing the bad character both times.
Yeah.
And like Connor, like both of those characters, like I was so sold on the way you played them. Like it was perfect. Like Podino was fantastic because he was playing with the noble savage archetype. And Winter was fantastic because immediately I liked his character.
Oh,
like the moment you started talking, I was like, I was expecting like something to go wrong here and you to say something that just sounds really suspicious. But no, like everything was just like, I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy. Like you should like me. And I'm just like, well, I do.
And you're such an idealist. And
exactly.
He's such an idealist. And John, I could literally, John Toast would have loved the guy.
Yeah.
Wasn't particularly creative tonight with stories and conversation, but John Toast totally would have loved the guy just straight off the bat, because he has a demon right in his character sheet and right down next to your name over there.
Yeah.
This is the glorious thing about role-playing games.
Yeah.
I'm not sure. Again, I had to see what Ares and Aviana and stuff like that are going to do and how they're going to react and stuff like that. But like,
I'm curious to
perfect
see
story arc. Now,
so Suo and Ares is going to do. That's what I'm curious about. Because I'm pretty sure I know what Avion's going to do. I'm pretty sure I know what Shikijiri is going to be planning. But yeah.
But yeah, I mean, Ares could totally buy into this.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, what was their goal when they were running away from something, running to something else?
Yeah, I mean, they were going to go to Lucerta so that she could get safe haven at an embassy there, because they have like friends of their family that like would protect them there.
Oh, that's how I get Iris. Is I just say, I'll protect your girl.
Yeah, and that's pretty easy.
Yeah, I mean, I am a god. Like, there's nothing I could do.
It's also very connected, Connor, because Winter is technically half Techo, and his father or his grandfather was the ambassador at the embassy.
Was he really?
Remember?
Oh, that's perfect. So I know exactly what you're going through. I know exactly what you're feeling. My grandfather was also the same thing as you are. So I know I can protect you. I know exactly how to protect you. And so I got Ares. Just remember that when you ask Ares about that, that's what I say. Is I'll protect your girl.
Right.
So you guys just built a bunch of connections for this character, and it all worked out.
Yep.
Well, this game is great.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It's just what's just great about like the whole thing is because Burning Wheel is meant to be a long game, and so all of these things are perfectly leading up to greater things, and like it will continue to do that as long as we play. So
so good.
Because
which is why when we did a hiatus game, I wanted to do it in the same world.
And Eurus is a minion.
Yeah,
Is the awesome part about this too. I mean, Winter and Eurus is this super strong villain character, and could totally be a standalone villain for a whole long role playing game. And right on his character sheet, we can tell Eurus is a minion.
Yeah, Eurus is not the last bad guy.
He's just a minion. And yet, it's going to be tough.
It's going to be very tough. All right, this has been a great session. I guess that's the end there. The end of Year of Raging Winds. And we'll be back in January.
So looking forward to it.
So far away, though.
Yeah, I know.
All right.
Good night.
That was episode 5 of Year of Raging Winds, and the end of our little show. We'll be back with Crow Inquisitors Season 2 later on, and we may just see the crew of the Three-Legged Falcon again. We're planning on recording another postmortem with the cast soon, so be on the lookout for that. Thanks for listening to this little side adventure as we continue to explore the world of Saragon together in the Year of Raging Winds.